Good afternoon, soccer fans. Welcome to the MCAC Final Four. And today's matchup between the visiting CMU Blazers and your Brandon University Bobcats. Here's today's starting lineups. First, for the visiting CMU Blazers. Number 1, Kata Melnick. Number 2, Leela Varius. Number 6, Kalissa Waslick. Number 10, Luisa Ibarra. Number 12, Noelle Wiebe. Number 13, Casey Pestrukovic. Number 15, Alyssa Rendina. Number 19, Juliana Milan. Number 20, Laurel Smith. Number 25, Grace Moore. And number 26, Veda Smith. And now it's time to introduce you to your Brandon University Bobcats starting lineup. First, starting number 1, Josie Black. Number 5, Brogan Henry. Number 6, Keisha Masters. Number 8, Mackenzie Boys. Number 10, Sarah Switzer. Number 12, Kennedy Jansen. Number 13, Georgia Hode. Number 14, Victoria Gonzalez Castillo. Number 16, Molly McPherson Blair. Number 18, Deborah Moran. And number 22, Abby Jo Wark. At this time, Brandon University would like to acknowledge the lands that we are on.
Brandon University has campuses on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 lands, and we are a gathering place to celebrate many festivals around the world. In this way, we carry on the indigenous customs of our home in Brandon. We acknowledge Brandon is on shared territory between the Dakota Oyate, the Anishinaabe, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Today, many other indigenous people call Brandon their home, including the Innu, Anishinaabe, Denisolee, and Inuit. The plants, animals, and people who share their history, traditions on the land and water of this area deeply influence our gatherings today. Thank you to all for sharing the space with us today.
We'll ask if you're able to do so at this time. Please rise. Remove any headwear for the playing of our national anthem.
CMU Blazers. We are about to get things kicked off here between the semifinal match of the first seed, top seed Brandon University Bobcats, and the fourth seed CMU Blazers. The Blazers were able to beat out the Assiniboine College Cougars in the final playoff spot there. And the Bobcats, who have been at the top spot for the last 4 weeks, are going to be looking to just continue the domination of over the CMU Blazers. Coin toss and captain's choices are done, and we're going to get things kicked off here right away. Winner of today's match will be featured in tomorrow's finals game between the winner over at the Assiniboine Complex between the Providence Pilots and the St. Boniface Les Rouges. So that game will be going on simultaneously with this one. And again, we'll see the winners of each will go on to the finals tomorrow. The winners of the finals will then represent Manitoba at the CCAC women's soccer finals. So that'll be played somewhere in Canada. And that'll be the top teams from each province facing off against each other through a round-robin style playoff game. Now we'll have teams, we'll see which sides they take, as the Bobcats, I believe, won the toss and have decided to switch sides. So they'll be coming over to this east side of the field, and the Blazers will be heading over to the west. Blazers will have to deal with a bit of sunshine in their eyes here on this beautiful sunny day. Highs are expected to be up to 18 or 19 degrees, so couldn't ask for a better day here at the HLC to kick off the women's soccer playoffs here between the Bobcats and the CMU Blazers. Kickoff is moments underway here, and we'll see how each team adapts to the game and situates themselves tactically. Bobcats have been able to dominate the Blazers so far this season. 3 convincing wins over the Blazers through their 12 games. In the MCAC, we have each team facing all the teams 3 times in the regular season, and then playoffs will be resulting after that. Here we have Bobcats setting up at the back. Nice little clearance attempt there. Finds Hode in the middle. She's going to play that up quickly to Henry. Henry's going to play it out wide to Work. She's going to be working on that far side. Bobcats have been able to kind of impose their will on teams using the outside of the field and maneuvering their way inside. Ball comes back to Castillo. Castillo plays it into Boys. Boys is a happy return to the Bobcats after being a scratch off the roster for most of the 2025-26 season here. And we have Marin in the middle now for the Bobcats. Decides to play it all the way back to Switzer. Bobcats, one of those teams that prefers to play it back just to reset the play, stretch out the opposition and allow for some clear passing lanes. As you can see now, the Blazers are going to have to track back from their forward position, and now here comes Castillo in the middle. Finds Henry on the break there. She's going to be on her left foot. She's going to try to get over to the right. Does so, but just a little too far ahead of her, and good clearance there by the Blazers. Blazers will be looking to get a bit of possession, get some time on the ball to situate and settle themselves into the game here, but Bobcats are looking to put on the pressure. Looks like it'll be no, ball does stay in here, so Boys will have to be quick there, but she's displaced, and now the Blazers are off to the races here as we have McPherson Blair able to anticipate that run there, but beautiful passing there. Ibarra was able to spring herself and call for the outlet pass. Blazers now looking to chip it up over, and that's knocked down by Jansen. Masters into the inside, doesn't quite find the mark there, and that's going to be a turnover. Bobcats will be looking to pressure. Anytime the Blazers get the ball, they'll be looking to put 1 or 2 players onto the ball. Here comes Marin now in the middle. She has a bit of space, is able to shoot, maybe. No, decides to poke it away. Castillo now to the outside. Here's Masters on her right foot. Just wide. So a bit of offense there from the Bobcats, you can see, are able to kind of get into that 18-yard box and able to shoot from anywhere. Masters Just unable to get that on net, but had the pace and the accuracy to be perhaps in the top guard. Here's Hode now. Good defensive effort, but that deflection looks like it goes past the goalkeeper there, and now the Bobcats jump out to a quick 1-0 lead. Melnick there kind of left stranded after a deflection off a defender. Puts the ball into the back of the net. CMU looking to set things back up and get the game underway quickly here, not to lose too much momentum after a good break there. Almost had them on goal now too. So Bobcats out to a quick 1-goal lead, and now they're going to be looking to pile on the pressure and make that 2 or more. Blazers though are going to be looking to do some damage of their own. Ball finds Jansen in the middle there. It's going to chip it over the top to Henry, who's able to box out her defender. Marin now might have some space to shoot, has to get on her right foot, does so! Ball just goes wide on the near post. Bobcats again, lots of offense. They're a team that pressures the ball constantly. And with that, you have to be conditioned pretty well. So you have to be able to maintain that heart rate, that conditioning for the entirety of the game. Blazers have dealt with it well so far. An unfortunate deflection, though, is what has resulted in the first goal. Masters there defended well by number 20 for the Blazers there. Here comes Jansen now with a bit of speed. She's unable to keep it in, though. So burst of speed there by Jansen, almost gets a cross in off of a seemingly harmless play. Ball comes out a little bit further up the field, so another big throw here. Smith able to get that up the field. Pearson Blair pokes that free, but Bobcats, here comes that pressure. A little too physical for the ref, though. And Boys, that returning defensive midfield, the playmaker for the Bobcats, has been whistled down, so that'll be a foul, and CMU get a free possession here. We'll see what they decide to do. Ball over the top, bounces and skips through everybody, but Pearson Blair is going to have to come out to it. Josie Black is going to scoop that up. Good communication there. She's going to be looking maybe to switch it to the other side. Bobcats not afraid to build up from the back, using those short passes, but also not afraid to bomb it over the top either. Here's Smith, loses that, and now her team's on the back foot, and Jansen's going to have to use her speed to try and get over to this for the outlet pass. Can't quite get there. It'll be a throw-in for the Bobcats on the far side. Work into Marin. Marin with a good back step, and now Hode lays it off to Masters. Masters and Boys kind of get caught up in there together, and Masters loses out. Chipped up there by Smith. It's going to eventually roll out here. Pearson Blair into Boys. Boys chips it up into her upper body there. Ref says play on. It's back and forth here at about midfield. Both teams have been able to show a bit of speed here. Both have had opportunities on the break. With a great run there by Ibarra for CMU, is able to almost get on goal there, but just disrupted by McPherson Blair, and Bobcats have had a couple chances there with Henry being sprung out, but now we have Marin in the middle. Threads the needle over to Jansen. She's going to have to use her speed. Good job there by Melnick, the goalkeeper of CMU, to get under that. Good boot now up the field. Sends Rendina by herself, and Petruskovic is just unable to run onto that, so a bit too much pace on that for her to run onto. CMU posturing like they want to pressure this and keep the ball up the field. But a good break there by Henry. Gives it to Hode, and Hode just doesn't quite get the pass she wants on that. And CMU now come. Good chip over the top there by Melnick, but ends up going out of play. Bobcats come into this with 10 wins on the season out of 12 games. Here comes Masters now. Henry, good touch there by Melnick, puts that over top of the, no, not over top, just able to redirect that into the crossbar. And now CMU looking to clear this and get out of trouble, but Masters is able to intercept, and now here comes Hode on her, the outside of her foot, puts into the defender's feet. Castillo now posturing over to Boys. Boys over to Wark, into Marin. Marin deciding put the play back and let everything reset. Quick passes there by the Bobcats, kind of diffuse any pressure from CMU. Ball into Hode. Hode has a bit of room to turn, does so, might take a shot here. Has to get on her right foot. Chip over to Marin. Marin's in by herself and puts it into the bottom right corner. Good build up there from the Bobcats, able to extend the lead now to 2 goals. And Marin's able to just kind of take a couple hesitation steps there and just put the goalie off of her balance and able to slot that into the bottom corner, extending the Bobcats' lead here on their home turf to 2 goals. Ball started all the way from the other side with Wark passing it back to Boys. Boys going all the way back to McPherson Blair, who then spotted out Hode in the middle. So build up that goes forwards and backwards, where the Bobcats are confident, not afraid to go back and use their defense. Now the Blazers will have to look to get some offense going of their own. They've had moments. They're going to have to get more than just moments now. Boys now with a bit of time in the middle. Good back and forth here now as Wark is going to be working up the far side. She's going to have a left-footed cross. Doesn't quite get everything she wants on it, and loose ball there. Ends up being scooped up by the Blazers goalkeeper. One of the ways the Blazers are going to be looking to get some offense is through those possession goal kicks, and that is going to rely mostly on just that first bounce after the goalkeeper boots it down the field. If the Bobcats can stop that, that'll prevent any real forward momentum for the Blazers. They'll have to track back and reset the play on the ground. But here come the Bobcats with a lot of room in the middle now. Marin is going to be able to continue to take this. Nobody's really challenging her, and finds Henry. Henry's going to use her burst of speed, but going to be put on her left foot. Smith with a good deflection there. This will be a corner kick for the Bobcats. Marin will be the chosen one. With her right foot, this could curl in towards the goal, so Melnick will have to stay on her line. Looks like it's doing just that. Good header there by Boys. Skims it over top of the post there, and another close call. Bobcats looking to pile on the pressure here. Melnick now for the Blazers, signaling everybody get up. There's nothing available. I got to boot it. Marin though, able to knock this down into Henry. Henry into Hode now on her right foot. Good pace. Puts it into the near side. Third goal of the game for the Bobcats. A quick 3-0 lead for the Bobcats. It's kind of stifled any of the Blazers' momentum now, and they're looking to just regroup and stop the bleeding at this point. Bobcats have 3 different goal scorers so far. in these first 13 minutes here, and now they're going to be looking to rack up the tallies as all of these points, wins, goals against, goals for are all incorporated into the national rankings, which the women's Bobcat team has made for the last few years here. This year they're ranked 11th in the country, I believe, unless that's changed. So of all provinces, out of all teams, they're ranked 11th as a collegiate athletic program. Here's work now for left foot. Has to rethink that low cross, and now just going to run back onto the ball. Goes out of bounds there for a Bobcat throw-in anyway. Again, the winner of today's game will face the winner of the Providence Pilots versus the St. Boniface Les Rouges over at the new complex here in Brandon. Petruskovic. Kept in there by Work, and now Henry has it. Work plays in long balls to Henry. Henry does keep it in. Falls over to Hode. Hode off her left foot. Good save there by Melnick. Had to be quick with her hands as that was going up to the crossbar. Unfortunate bounce there by Milan as she heads that back into her own area. Masters there wasn't on the same page as Jansen, but more offensive prowess there is going to make it tough for the Blazers to defend as they're getting attacked from the long ball, the short passes, off-ball movement. Masters now able to win that ball back. Good move around. Here's Jansen now. Quick feet gives her a bit of space. Marin's going to have to battle it out against Various there. Hode off her left over to Henry. Henry into Jansen. Jansen does get a shot away. Kind of screened the goalkeeper. She couldn't really see it until the last moment. She was able to scoop that though. Here's that first bounce. Is it going to bounce? No. Boyce does a good job, and again just stops everything the Blazers are looking to do there by not letting that ball bounce and continue up the field. Here's Varias, puts it out though. Bobcats are looking to pile on the pressure. The Blazers are able to make the playoffs today with a single head-to-head win, which allows them to take the final playoff spot here. Them and the Assiniboine College Cougars were tied with 2 wins, 10 losses each, but here comes Jansen, able to split the defense, but not the goalkeeper, as Melnick does a good job of sprawling out to save that. So the Cougars were able to, or the Blazers were able to beat out the Cougars as they won 2 out of the 3 matches that they played head-to-head. So a tying record will result in whoever beat the opposing team the most, and the Blazers beat the Cougars twice. The Cougars beat the Blazers once. So that'll turn the tides over to the Blazers, and now here's Henry trying to squeak it by and doesn't quite get the touch he needs to put it around Melnick, who's been the busiest player on the field again. Last time these two teams faced off here at the HLC, the Melnick was definitely the busier of the two goalkeepers, busier than most of the players. Marin now with the corner kick. Backspin on that, it doesn't quite get at the speed it needed to be effective, and Bobcats do maintain possession now. Here's Marin now with the outside of her foot, trying to go for goal there, and good stop there by Melnick. McPherson Blazers gonna have to act quick as pressure from the Blazers is mounting, and this will be an offside call, or injured player just over there by the goalkeeper. Just holding her face. Hopefully everything's okay. She's able to get up under her own power there, so seems to be walking back into the play. Wasilic was the injured player there. One of the key defenders for the Blazers. Jansen taking the drop ball here with Milan. So possession was with the Bobcats when the whistle was blown, so they'll get the ball back via a drop ball to mimic natural play. Here's work on the far side with Wasilic. Throw into Henry. Castillo now. Able to play it all the way back to Switzer. Switzer's being pressured though there by Ibarra. Able to play it into Boys. Boys is going to try and spot out Hode on the move, but doesn't quite keep it low enough, and that's intercepted. Ibarra, though, good touch there, is going to try and spring her teammate Petruskovic, and she does. She's going to have to put on the afterburners here to beat Castillo. A shot from distance. Doesn't really bother Josie Black. Josie Black just scanning the field now. Could be a spark though for the Blazers, a bit of offense if their first shot on net. Could spark a bit of motivation. Bobcats though looking to spark their own motivation here as Henry is able to have it right on her foot. Weave's going to be tracking her, Wasilic as well. Bork looking to cross that. Masters with a good touch is able to bring it down. Here comes McPherson Blair on her. Oh, and he's going to have to shoot off the post. Oh, good attempt there by the right back for the Bobcats. One touch and then just gets it nice and high. Don't believe it took a deflection off the goalkeeper. I think that was just straight to the post. And a good attempt there by McPherson Blair, and when you're on, you're on. So the Bobcats firing on all cylinders so far. McPherson Blair here again, able to push up a bit as Bobcats haven't been too worried about the offensive generation of the Blazers. Able to push forward and track back as much as they want. Boys now. High pass with a bit too much pace. And Boys will have to settle into this game. After being out of gameplay for quite a few weeks here, she'll be looking to just settle into the game, and practice only does so much in terms of getting you prepared for a game-like situation. So here we have McPherson Blair passing about to Switzer. Look to cross it over to Castillo. Castillo into Boys, who plays it out to Work. Back to Castillo. All the way back to Josie Black. Josie Black looking for Marin in the middle, finds her. As soon as the Bobcats feel any pressure on their back, they're happy to just pass back and reset the play to try and get a bit of space there. Good pass by Boys. Finds Masters, and she's got some space in the middle now. Masters doesn't quite get the pass she wants on her left foot there, but Hode is able to use her speed to get back onto this ball. Now Masters looking to go outside. Doesn't quite get there. Broken Henry puts it under the crossbar for her second goal of the game. A shot from distance now as the Bobcats are able to extend the lead to 4 goals. And Broken Henry just able to plant that foot and get a nice shot. Dip down under the crossbar. It's a beautiful Beautiful shot. And the Bobcats, again, firing on all cylinders, able to score from close range through a series of passes, and now able to get their first goal from distance. But here come the Blazers now, looking to quell any sort of motivation the Bobcats had. But good turn there by Switzer, and Masters now fighting with Ibarra. Ibarra just using a bit too much of her body there for the ref's liking, so this will be a free kick for the Bobcats. Boys standing over this. Nice towering kick there by Boys. That's going to get Masters on the ball there, defended by Smith. Hode able to turn and looks for Jansen, but Varias is doing a good job getting back. Here's Ibarra. Sends it up to Petruskovic. She does win a throw in for her team here. We'll see what kind of possession the Blazers can keep. Looks like it's lost out right away. Now the Bobcats are going to be building up once again. Smith there with a good interception. Does find the body of Marin. Marin into Boys. Boys is trying to play it out to Masters, who will not get there. Smith able to just put that out of play and let everybody reset and track back. Henry on it. Work. Post and out. Oof. Work with the left foot. Able to get nice and low. Goalkeeper doesn't really have much of a chance there if that finds a few more inches inside of the net there, but work with a lot of pace on that low shot attempt. Just finds the post. Here comes Castillo now. Is she going to try from distance? No, he's going to find Marin. Good pass there. Marin's going to chip it out to Castillo again, but finds Masters instead. Masters going to use her quick feet and quick body feigns, and Bobcats are just able to stay on this ball as much as possible there. And it's Laurel Smith there able to just put this out of play and finally end the mounting pressure by the Bobcats. But they will have a corner kick, and we have a substitution here as Henry is now coming off. And Dzongramel's coming on here, so tactical change no doubt, as Brogan Henry wasn't showing any signs of injury, but tactical change in the sense of let's save one of our important players for tomorrow's finals. And just as we say that, we have Boys able to get her first goal of the game there using her noggin. After having a few attempts there off the corner kicks with her head, she's able to put one home. So the Bobcats able to storm out now to a 5-goal lead as we enter just about the halfway mark of the first half. So quarter of the game gone by and 5-goal lead for the Bobcats. 5 goals, 4 different goal scorers. Just shows the Bobcats are able to use all different facets of their game from all different players. So we'll have to see how things shape out tomorrow with the Bobcats or the Blazers facing the Providence Pilots or St. Boniface Les Rouges. Bobcats have been heavy favorites for most of the season, with the Providence Pilots kind of coming out and making it a bit interesting there in the final half of the season. Just a few points back of the Bobcats in the second spot. Here comes Jansen with a great shot from distance. Why not? When everything's clicking, everything's clicking. we've got another goal here for the Bobcats with Jansen now adding her second goal of the game from distance, probably 20-25 yards here. One just able to move the defender out of her way and just decides to take a shot, and that dipped nice and low with more than enough pace on it to give her team a 6-goal lead here. So the Bobcats able to pile on the pressure and just feel that confidence, and with that comes plays and things you wouldn't usually see with a tight-knit team. Not to say they aren't disciplined, but when you have a bit of a lead and all things are really working well, you kind of have a bit of wiggle room to attempt shots from a bit further than you'd like, and moves or techniques you wouldn't usually do because you don't want to lose possession. Here's Jansen now along the far side. Good job there by Moist to clear that for the Blazers. We have Wyra now up top there for the Blazers. She's going to try and track around the defense of the Bobcats. Zongermel now plays it in to Hode. Looks like Zongermel and McPherson Blair have switched positions, as McPherson Blair has more of a central role and Zongermel here on the near side is more of a wing back, a defensive player and a outside winger all wrapped up in one. She's going to have lots of duties. She's got to have a player who's able to commit to that sort of play style, have the conditioning to do both the defensive, have the defensive responsibility, but also the offensive responsibility as well. And here's Masters now able to just beat Laurel up, but Laurel's using her physicality to keep Masters on the outside. Their flag does go up, and it looks like an offside going against the Bobcats there. Diffuses the situation for the Blazers now, and here's Melnick. Boot up, doesn't quite go as far as it needed to, and Marin's able to knock it down. Milan has to give that up with two Bobcats on her, and here's Castillo now into Boys. Boys slips and falls, and here's Wasilik up to Petruskovic. Slows the play down and hopes that her teammates can come up to it, but she then loses it now, and the Bobcats are forcing all the Blazers back defensively. Jansen with the chip up there tries to find Masters, but Laurel does, or Smith does a good job there. McPherson Blair back into her defensive spot there. Zongermel though is looking to cause a bit of havoc. Corner kick here for the Bobcats. Boys there with a, looks to be a set play as she's ran into the 18-yard box, and Zongermel puts that right on top of her head. So Boys could be the target of some of these corner kicks for the Bobcats. She's had a couple attempts on net with one goal coming from the corner kick. Here's Melnick now. It's going to be tough for the Blazers now to mount a 6-goal comeback, but one of the things they're going to have to do is not to get down on themselves as Hode comes in now. Good save there by Melnick, able to deflect that wide, but kept in by Masters, and the Bobcats are going to look to put the pressure back on. Marin Has a bit of space. Can she shoot with her left? No, decides to go into Jansen, or Castillo, excuse me. One too many moves there. Castillo being fed the ball, trying to get a goal for their defense, and Blazers are looking to clear this. Here's Prashuskovic, met by Boys, who wins this back. She's going to cross the field there to McPherson Blair. Great ball. Gives her a lot of space to work with. Into Masters. Masters one touch gets around Smith. Both of them are speedy. And a good shot attempt there. Might have taken the deflection, but Melnick able to scoop that up. Boot over the top. Great job, and does get that bounce. So this is where the Blazers have been dangerous. Good job there by Switzer to follow that up, and Boys to be in that defensive midfield to get to that loose ball. Dzongramel looking to maybe make a run. Gets it back from Marin. Is able to beat out Smith, and now she's going to cross it over. Jansen is on the receiving end, and she puts it off the post and in. Great build up for the Bobcats there, and they extend the lead to 7 goals now. As we have a great job there. Dzongramel doing all the hard work there, getting along the side, and the ball skips through a couple players actually, and before it finds Jansen's foot, who's ready to slot that home, and she puts it off the inside post there. Extends the lead for the Bobcats. Here comes the Blazers right after the kickoff, looking to create some offense of their own. Josie Black's gonna have to try and do something a little more effective than what that was, because that was dangerous. Here comes Milan now, able to turn with that. Forced off the ball though by McPherson Blair and played up to Masters. Masters might leave this for Dzongramel, does so. Now she's going to have to use her speed around Smith, who's been able to match some of the fast BU players there. And Dzongramel with a shot attempt, blocked though by, here's McPherson Blair with a bouncing ball. Another shot attempt from distance from the Bobcats. There's the bounce that the Bobcats really just have to cut out. They have to get there first, either get a foot or head on it, to try and stop any momentum for the Blazers. Switzer now able to play us all the way back to Josie Black, and Boy's doing a good job just being an outlet on the near side. That ball doesn't quite go to where Josie wanted it. Now, luckily, McPherson Blair's there. Ball comes out to Boys, who's able to get on it. She's going to have to play it up to Masters, and Boys has the luxury of just being able to put the ball up the field somewhere, and Bobcats will get to it. Here's Wark, is able to get to the loose ball. Good job, good save there by Melnick. Sprawls out and gets a toe on that. Masters now with her attempt. Another save with Hode. Oh, another shot by the Bobcats. Puts it off the crossbar this time. 3 shots in the 20-second window there for the Bobcats, and I believe 3 saves. I believe Melnick got a touch on that third one that went off the crossbar. Not sure if it's a good sign that your goalkeeper is your busiest player here, but ball just squeaks out there by Boys, and she's going to have to hustle back to get back to her spot. Looks like we have a switch here. Wark is going to be on the near side. Dzongramel is going to be on the far side, so a little switch, maybe just an attempt at switching things up, seeing how it works. Although teams have played 12 games in the regular season and a few from the preseason, they've no doubt implemented some new systems, some systems to switch things up when teams have kind of figured out their current tactical situation, and that could be what this is. Just switching players allows for different matchups, and We know Wark has that left foot that's been pretty instrumental on that far side, but here's Castillo now looking through the middle. Good pass there to Wark. She's going to be on her right foot though. Good cross into Masters. Masters has the one touch. And Ho was able to jump onto the loose ball there. So a great shot by Masters with good save by Melnick, but the ball just, the rebound, able to bounce around for a second or two. Here comes a shot, good hand save there, but again the rebound just bouncing around, and Ho able to come in and just tap that home for her easiest goal of the season. It's a great play by the Bobcats there as Masters is able to get that shot that was saved. Just a reaction save there by Melnick, but the rebound was just not in the right spot. No defenders there to clear it either. So here's Smith now able to get around Wark, but has to put it out. McPherson Blair for the Bobcats, looking to find a space or a player. Masters doesn't quite get body on that, and she eventually does get there. Marin now chips it over the top, doesn't find anybody. Wasilic has to chest that down and just boot it away, as that was bouncing in a dangerous spot. So again, the winner of tomorrow's finals will be able to represent Manitoba at the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Conference playoffs, and there's Wark. Able to extend the lead now to 8 goals with a volley there, just a bouncing ball that she's able to pivot on and put into the bottom right side of the net. After the corner there by Marin. This comes to a bounce, comes to a halt, and Wark's able to jump on the loose ball. And a team that shows this much eagerness and intensity for any loose ball is bound to be the first ones to some of those loose bouncing balls. Here's Boys now looking to chip it over the top for Ho. Doesn't quite have the height it needed, and Jansen puts it back into that same area. But as I was saying, the winner of tomorrow's finals will represent Manitoba at the CCAC playoffs, and Bobcats have been the defending champions this year, who represented Manitoba last year. So they'll be looking to no doubt implement some of these matchups, some of these tactics that they found some success with, or a lot of success, in their visit over to the Canadian College Athletic Conference playoffs, if they make it there. But barring any sort of unbelievable comeback, it looks like the Bobcats will be in cruise control mode here, with maybe sending on some of their bench players to try and get some minutes there in case of injury, and preserve some of their star players in case, again, of any unfortunate injuries happening. Good shot attempt there by Switzer, and why not if you're going to go from distance when you're up by 8 goals. Melnick now looking to get this out of harm's way so their teammates can finally rest. Bobcats able to put this back in now. Masters able to spring herself. She's going to be on her right foot, but good pressure there by Smith. Again, that matchup has been quite interesting, with Smith matching the speed of Masters. It's kind of nullified her quick one-touch turns that she likes to do. There's Wasilic now looking to chip this up to Petruskovic. Doesn't quite find the mark though. So a moment to breathe for the Blazers now before the Bobcats have a throw in. Castillo now for the Bobcats. Plays it in to Marin. Marin decides to switch it over the top after a call from McPherson Blair. She's going to have lots of room. One defender to beat. Decides to play it back to Marin, who's looking to turn in the middle. Boys there able to spot out Jansen. Into Hode. Back to Jansen. Chip over the top. Oh. Don't think that was the type of shot she was going for there, but almost dipped low enough to hit the crossbar. Wasilic back to Melnick. Good clearance there by Melnick, but Castillo runs onto this. Marin now has it. Jansen defended well there by Wasilic. Throwing for the Bobcats here. Zongromel into Jansen, who has to turn quickly and has a bit of space as a result. Tries to swing it in there. Masters is on it, going to try and get a shot attempt. Just outside the 18-yard box. Here's that boot there. Try and get a foot on it. Boys does get that foot, and you can see it just kind of stopped any momentum of the Blazers. Marin into Jansen. Jansen takes it off the run. Melnick has to get down. Wasn't too sure if that would hit the net or not, but covering all of her bases there with a diving save. Fakes the boot and now goes short to Wasilic. Wasilic is able to get up to Petruskovic. Jansen now into Masters. Masters might fancy a shot here. No. Fakes the shot, goes to Marin, but that had a bit too much pace on it. Marin though able to get there with her speed. Back into work on the left foot. She might fancy a shot. She does. Looks to maybe chip it over the top. Zongromel does not keep it in. The flag goes up for a goal kick. Melnick with a goal kick that goes just out of bounds. Hode. And there's the halftime whistle. So we have a 9-goal lead for the Bobcats going into the second half here at the HLC on this beautiful sunny day. We will be right back for the second half action. everybody, and welcome back to the second half action here at the HLC between the visiting CMU Blazers from Winnipeg and the Brandon University Bobcats. We're here at the Healthy Living Center here at Brandon University, hosting the first of two semifinals games. One is happening at the new complex here in Brandon as well. So the winners of both of these games will head into tomorrow's finals here at the HLC and will be crowned the winner of the women's MCAC soccer season. Here at the HLC we have the Brandon University Bobcats out to a 9-goal lead against the visiting CMU Blazers as we get kickoff here underway. Again, the winner of tomorrow's finals, whoever that may be, will head over to the CCAC, the Canadian Collegiate Association Conference, and that'll be representing Manitoba at the playoffs there. So each province will have a representative, and they'll play out in a round-robin style to see who will be crowned the CCAC champion. Bobcats are coming out quick here as we have good save there by the new goalkeeper Kilburn for the Blazers. Ball cleared out there by Moist to give the Blazers some time. I thought I saw an injury, but it looks like everybody is okay. Flag up there on the side gives the indication of an improper throw-in, so this will be taken again here by the Blazers this time, and they'll look to pass back. Blazers were able to see some offense, a couple sparks in the first half after a few goal kick clearances. We're able to bounce. Here comes Ballin with a nice run in and shot that just sails over top. Didn't really dip at all, just kind of floated in the air for a bit before going out of bounds. So here comes the goal kick now. Vasilic back into Kilburn. Over to Smith. Finds its way out. Bobcats have made quite a few substitutions at half here, giving some of their starters for this game a bit of a rest to prevent any injury. We do have Marin there, who has been the player of the game in my opinion, just somebody who's ready on the defensive end and offensive end. Been a crucial playmaker for the Bobcats. But some of the substitutions include Van Berkel there in the middle is now on as a defensive midfield. We have Kellier here on the near side as a defender. Burton now is going to be up top, taking the place of Hode and Henry, Dzongramel, any of those offensive midfield players. Looks like we have a few substitutions for the Blazers as well. So we have Garcia coming on the near side for the midfield and a few others. So both teams able to get some of their bench players a few minutes here. Hopefully a full 45 minutes here for the second half, as they try to close out the game here at the HLC. Again, the Blazers able to make the playoffs due to an head-to-head matchup with the AC Cougars. They were able to beat out the AC Cougars by 1 game, as both teams had a 2-win, 10-loss record. But the head-to-head matchup means that the Blazers were able to win more times against the AC Cougars, and the AC Cougars were able to beat the Blazers this season. So they were able to secure the final playoff spot despite a tie. And the Bobcats have been maintaining that top spot, the first seed in the MCAC women's soccer standings for quite some time, with the Providence Pilots kind of knocking on their doorstep late in the season. And so the top seed, number 1 seed, faces the 4th seed, and the 2nd seed faces the 3rd. And that'll be the other game going on right now, as we have a shot attempt that just scoops wide of the near side post there. So the other game going on now is between the 2nd seed Providence Pilots and the 3rd seed St. Boniface Les Rouges. And depending on that result, one of those 2 teams will be here tomorrow in the grand finals, as well as one of these 2 teams here at the HLC. Tomorrow's supposed to be a nice day as well. A bit more cloud coming in tomorrow, but couldn't ask for a nicer day here today at the HLC. Beautiful sunny skies. A little bit of wind to cool you off. Good corner there. A couple back and forths, and it looks like Bobcats are able to poke that in. Looks like it was the substitution there at the top of the formation. Peyton Burton able to poke that home off of the corner kick to extend the lead to 10 goals now, double digits for the Bobcats here at home. Blazers will look to just take something positive out of today's game, and although they haven't won on the scoreboard, they have won in some areas here so far. They've improved greatly in their management of the game defensively. They've been able to kind of thwart some of the attacks from the Bobcats and with an effective and quick pace, which is one thing that kind of got them down early in the first matchup this season. They just weren't able to clear the ball, or were trying a few too many fancy things. So far this game they've been able to clear things up pretty quickly here, as the Blazers have had a bit of time now in the Bobcat half. Moore now able to clear that out. Desongramel looking to battle this near side here with Weeb, but Weeb doing a good job defensively of just holding the play here, and Marin now looking to switch the field over to the wing back in Dornay, and Dornay is looking to play it up, does so. Cleared out there by Smith. So both teams able to switch their goalies at half. Kilburn in for the Blazers, and now we have Lamoureux for the Bobcats. So a few minutes of game time. Again, could be tactically just want to see how both players are doing, both goalkeepers are doing, or it could be just kind of preserving the health for tomorrow's finals of these starting goalkeepers. Zongramal doing a good job there against Wasilik, who had gone down injured in the first half, but is able to make looks like a full recovery. Ibarra now has that pass deflected by Van Berkel. Zongramal plays it inside to Burton, the goal scorer. Marin now. Good move around the defender there. Looking to chip it up to Burton again, but just bounces over her foot and scooped up there by Kilburn. Good job by the Bobcats. One of the areas they needed to improve on in the first half was just not letting that goal kick, that possession kick, bounce, because that gave a lot of forward progress to the Blazers, and now so far they've been able to just stop that, whether it's a foot or the head, stop the progress in its tracks. Good cross there by Ballon gives Dornay a bit of room now to work, and she's going to be looking to pass it inside to Marin. Marin with a volleying shot. Never really had an opportunity to sink down, and that just floats wide, or floats high, excuse me, and stayed high the whole time. Good pass here up by Wasilik. Is going to find the substitute Garcia. Garcia keeps it in. Zongramel's going to try and pounce on the loose ball. Kellier now into Marin. Marin back out to Zongamel, crosses it in. Curling ball. Here we have kind of a subpar possession kick there, but now we have a shot attempt. Reeling her hands back in at the last second as Kilburn deciding not to touch that as it was going wide. But a good attempt there by Akimo. When she had a bit of space there in the middle. Goal kick for the Blazers now. Kilburn scouting around. Doesn't quite get the distance she needed, and it goes right to Burton, who had an attempt there. Another subpar goal kick. So Blazers have been relying on that goal kick, that possession kick out of the hands of the goalkeeper, and now those two last ones have not been up to par, have not gotten the distance they need, and that just keeps the ball down in this end. And defensively, the Blazers are going to get a little fatigued, I imagine. Not really getting a break. Here come the Bobcats. Again, putting pressure on the defense of the Blazers. Marin now with a bit of space. Will she go on her right foot and shoot? She will! Good save by Kilburn, able to scoop up that rebound. That's more of the goal kick they need. There's the bounce, and again, forward progress is going to go their way. So the Blazers are going to have to utilize that like they did in the first half. Ball goes outside to Dornay. Dornay is going to scout around. Back and forth in the corner gives Bobcats the opportunity to cross it in. They do. Marin turns, pivots and shoots and puts it into the back of the net after a deflection off the hand of the goalkeeper there. Marin adds to her tally and to the total tally of the Bobcats, bumping it up to 11 goals in this semi-final of the MCAC women's soccer season. The hometown Bobcats using the home court advantage to take and maintain a comfortable lead here against the CMU Blazers. Blazers now looking to have a break defensively. Just get the ball out of their own end so the defense can rest. But Dornay says, no, I'm going to bring this all the way up. I'm going to spring my winger. Kilburn able to get out there and match the ball. Here comes the boot. That's a boot that they need. Ballin does a good job there for the Bobcats of getting a touch on that, not letting it bounce, and adding any unpredictability into the game. Here we go, the Bobcats looking to build up in the middle now. They've found success on the outside. They're going to try and build up in the middle. Dornay now looking to do a step over. Kind of catches her own feet, but is able to get back. Gets a subpar cross in, and that's met there by Kilburn. Kilburn does collide there with the Bobcat striker there. I believe that was Dittmer who just tried to time her run, but ended up colliding with the goalkeeper. Goalkeeper will always be at a disadvantage in those situations as they have to use their hands to collect the ball, so they can't use their hands to brace themselves. So fouls will typically go against the player rather than the goalkeeper, and just for that reason. And Birkelnow has to be quick. Good pressure there by Ibarra of the Blazers, trying to just get a turnover there at midfield. Ball comes out to Zongermel, who's going to make one move around Wasilic, and now she's off to the races. Passes it inside to Burton, the goal scorer. Burton still has it in her feet, able to try and shoot, get the ball out somewhere, and ends up scooting out. Garcia's gonna have to run onto it, and Callier and Garcia, excuse me, are going back and forth. And Burkle now looking to cross it into the middle. Here's Byram, maybe able to take a shot if she wants. She's on her left foot. Doesn't quite get the pass she wanted there, and ball goes out of play for a Bobcat throw in. Callier with a good throw finds Dittmer. Dittmer is not able to get around Wasilic. Wasilic now is going to be battling with Callier. Gets it up though, and now the ball falls to Rendina. Throw in there to Dittmer to Zongermel, and she's going to look to cross this. Does a great job of that. Has that curling in to Burton, but good job there by Smith to meet that ball. Clearance attempt doesn't quite go out far enough. To Renee now, back to Byram. Byram's going to look to turn or something. Decides to go back. Doesn't quite find the passing lane it needs to be at. Marin now with a good deflection there makes that ball trickle over to Callier. Callier running down the near side. Forces two of the Blazers to commit and able to pass it inside. Kilburn with a bit of a slip there, able to get up and get over to the ball. Push there in the back by Garcia. As number 9 versus number 9. Here's Callier now. Giving the ball over to Van Berkel. He's going to look to curl this in. High kick. This could be a shot on net here. Kilburn with a good save. There's that boot that they so desperately need, the Blazers, and there's the bounce. So the ball comes all the way back and gives the Blazers a bit of time and space, but Lemeru is not just looking to boot that away. She's got to find one of her defenders because the Blazers have a bit of space. Ball comes into Dittmer. Dittmer has two Blazers to beat. She's got the pace though to move around and get past. She's on her right foot. Good save by Kilburn. Kilburn able to sprawl out and make that save. Here comes another boot that the Blazers need, and again the bounce puts the ball all the way back to Ballon. Ballon has that good foot control, able to settle things down pretty effectively. Bobcats do have to try and just get somebody on that ball before it bounces to stop any forward momentum for the Blazers. As Blazers are off to the races now, and Garcia was almost sprung there. Bobcats looking to go all the way back as Rendina looks to pressure the ball for the Blazers. Ball goes up through the middle to Marin. Marin plays outside to Renee, who's got the speed. Doesn't have the angle, I don't think, to get a shot away. Decides to cross into Burton, and Burton just puts it right to the goalkeeper's hands. Anywhere but there. And that ball would be in the back of the net. Here's a good boot. Not going to get a bounce there, and that, again, look, you can see right away, just stops the forward momentum of the ball. Ball's going to just trickle out. So this will be a goal kick. Kilburn deciding to play it short. Give the Blazers a bit of time on the ball here. Chips it up over the top. Various just unable to control that. Might have been going out. Kamo loses out. Here's Garcia for the Blazers. Chips it up over the top, and now we have Ibarra trying to run onto this one as she is met there by Van Berkel. Good attempt there by the Blazers to create some offense. Dittmer. Good passes is going to be enough. Zongermel able to readjust herself and able to get to this ball. Dittmer does get back on the ball here, and she's on her right foot. Decides to go wide and finds Smith. Byram now. Up to Zongermel. She's going to cross this in. And booted out effectively there by Weeb. Substitutions now for the Blazers as we have Wyra coming back on. She was a substitution at half there, so she's able to come back on as long as she wasn't taken off during the game time. Thrown here for the Bobcats. Looks like we have just a pause of play, a substitution here. Seems to be a substitution of a substitution, and the ref just wants to clear things up there with the coach. So we'll have Wyra, who just came on, will be substituted out. And it looks like we have Milan coming back on, so another substitution at half, making her appearance back into the game. Allen with a shot attempt over top. Oh, hits a crossbar. Bouncing ball just scoots wide, and Bobcats right after the pause of play looking to get the heart pumping and the blood flowing. With a great shot there by Ballon, just goes off the crossbar. Substitutions for the Bobcats now is Marin coming off, and looks like Wark is going to be coming back on. Throwing for the Bobcats, gives the ball back to Dornay. Dornay's going to be play down the line. Still has the ball into Van Berkel. Might have to go back here. A lot of pressure from the Blazers. No, decides to go back in. Wark now trying her new position out in the midfield. Usually outside on the wing. Oh, here's a towering shot. Never really stood a chance of being on goal, but keeps the Blazers on the back heel. And now here's Milan into Garcia. And Berkel finds a deflection. Here's Vasilik. Be a Blazer throw-in. Barnes, good job keeping that in, and there's Vasilik able to boot it down. So Ballon's going to have to probably look to turn or play this back to the goalkeeper. Does so. She misses though. Lamoureux is going to have to run back to get this, and does so pretty calmly. Byram now with the ball. Good job of the Bobcats building up on the far side now, looking to use their new substitutions energy. Dittmer sliding and having her progress halted by Wasilik. Wasilik up to Milan. Milan now plays it into Ibarra. Ibarra is going to turn and displaced there by Van Berkel. Kamo now in the middle. Doesn't quite find the foot of her teammate, but ball does come back her way. Dittmer is going to be the one on it. Wark now coming inside to receive this. Doesn't go to her, but Zongramal is able to come out with the ball. Byram now looking to turn and get this up the field. Good job fighting off the attacker. Intercepted though by Ibarra. Now Ibarra's off to the races. Ballon though doing a good job of shielding the ball. Good turn there, gives her a bit of space to work back up the field. She still has it. Various now looking to defend that, but Ballon finds Okimo. Ball just scoots out of Dornay's foot. This will be a Blazer throw-in. Smith looking to throw this in here. Over the top, finds Ibarra, scoots under her foot, so she'll lose possession. And Bobcats have it again. Ballon now looking for work on the near side, intercepted there by Wasilik. Collier into Zongramal looking for just a deflection there, doesn't quite find the mark. Van Berkel looking to switch the field, finds Byram. Byram with a pass with just a bit too much pace there, and it goes out for a Blazer throw-in. Smith now moving up the field for this. He was moist, unable to keep it in. Various now able to create the turnover, passes it inside to Ibarra. Ibarra plays it over to Rendina. Blazers now looking to just play the long ball over the top. Collier is going to have to play this outside, does so effectively, right to Wark. Wark back in her outside midfielder role. Wark unable to get that back, and Bobcats will have to look to build up again, but Blazers now on the offensive end looking to spark something as they have a foul inside Bobcat territory. Ibarra puts it down just inside midfield. That is right into the shin of Dittmer. Dittmer now looking to put pressure onto that and spring her team. It's a 3-on-1. Here comes Zongramal. She's got the pace to beat the last defender, but Smith is able to get herself back, and Wark is going to have to take a shot. Does so, and just a little too shallow, and it goes wide of the near post. Kilburn now playing back and forth with her defenders and has a tough time keeping that down. Blazers have had the most success when they've cleared the ball out. Just played that long ball over the top and hope for a good bounce. They haven't been doing too much of that here. They've been kind of sucked into the Bobcat way where they have to play those short passes, and just haven't found too much success with that. So if the Blazers can get more of a long ball game going, they'd be able to skip over a lot of that pressure of the Bobcats. First Garcia now in the middle. Gonna have to try and turn with Kelly on her, and she does. Foul there though by Garcia when she was about to lose the ball. This will be a Bobcat throw-in, or foul kick, excuse me. Allen plays it short over to Byram. Van Berkel back to Byram. To Dornay. Dornay looking to play back to Byram. Good job there spotting the open player, and Bobcats maintain possession for the time being despite quite a bit of pressure from the Blazers. Here's Dornay coming all the way inside from her winger roll. Good turn there by Work. Gets herself a bit of room. She's going to cross it into Dittmer, who just takes it off the wrong foot. Clear there by Garcia, not all the way out, as Kelly might have a shot attempt here. Good stop and turn over to Dzongramel, just puts this way too high. Gets underneath of that ball. Foot gets underneath of it, and so the ball goes high into the sky. Good clearance attempt there by the Blazers. Bobcats able to wiggle their way through some of the Blazer defense, but not able to get inside that 18-yard box. Here's Work now on the near side. Work there just pushing down Milan as the ref blows his whistle. Blazers take the ball quickly and just decide to pass around. Good ball up there. Does find the foot of Milan. Milan into Garcia. Now they have a bit of room to play with. And Berkel does a good job of collecting the loose ball there. And Dzongramel now might be on it. She might be an outlet here as Kilburn has to come out and collect this, as that outlet pass was a bit too far. Good job by Van Berkel there, just stopping that possession kick from bouncing, and that stops any momentum for the Blazers. Here's Work. Unable to keep that in, but that will be a corner kick. Work now with her left foot, I believe, will be nice towering kick. Kilburn gets her fingers on it. Deflects it enough to just dissuade anybody from getting a goal scoring opportunity, and good job there by the Blazer goalkeeper to charge out and make a play on the ball. Dornay now can't get around the Blazer defender. Burton now looking to play that into Okemo. She does, and now Wasilic is able to charge up into Kellier's area. Work though is in the right space at the right time, looking to shoot. Good save. Ball bounces over to the Bobcats, and they've netted their 12th goal of the game. As we have our first goal in 15 plus minutes, I think. Our longest streak without a goal has ended, and the Bobcats tally on their 12th goal of the game. Ball comes out, and Dornay is just able to pick up the loose ball essentially and throw it into the back of the net with her foot. After a good attempt there by Work. So the Blazers looking to bounce back here. They've had some glimpses of success offensively, but unable to really get any sort of success translated into a shot. So that, I would imagine, would be the goal here, as we kind of close out the final 10 minutes of the game. We'll be looking to just build up and get that success shown into a shot on net. As the referee there and the linesmen were just getting on the same page with substitutions and goal scorers. We have kickoff and play resumes here as Ballin charging up the field out of her defensive center back role. Blazers now looking to create some offense. Have some of that translate into that final third of the field. Here's Smith now. Laurel Smith able to turn around Burton, but just nudges it outside, so this will be a throw-in. Bobcats have been able to score on goal kick, or quarter kicks, outlet passes, fast breaks, short passes, one-time shots, shots from distance. I think the only two ways they haven't scored is from a penalty kick or free kick. Pretty successful if you can score in many different ways. A few players have had multiple goals this game, but for the most part, out of 12 goals, I believe there's 9 different goal scorers. Excuse me, 8. 8 different goal scorers. Van Berkel now with a nice towering free kick. Does bounce, but Laurel Smith does a good job of scooping that up. Kilburn with a great save, and the flag goes up for an offside call. So although Dornay was able to put that into the back of the net, won't count, as the play was whistled offside after the initial shot. So Kilburn was able to take this free kick. Played as far as she needs to, and Dornay's going to look to maybe get another shot in here. Good hands there by Kilburn, able to grab that out of the air without any issue. Callier does exactly what needed to be done for the Bobcats and stops that ball from bouncing. Second clearance attempt though by Garcia has this ball into Bobcat territory. Milan doing a good job pressuring Van Berkel. Berkel able to clear it up. Dittmer able to run on it. Dittmer all by herself. And scores! Another goal adds the tally to 13 goals for the Bobcats. 0 for the Blazers, as Dittmer able to put her stamp on the game here. She was able to just beat out the defender. Here she is, one touch and just decides, you know what, that side's wide open, we'll pop it in there. No real chance for Kilburn there, as she was left kind of stranded. The most you can do there as a goalkeeper is just kind of spread out as big as you can and hope a deflection hits your body. But the net is so big at that point on an offensive fast break like that that not much can be done. Here's Dittmer again looking to use her speed to get up the field. Songermel plays it back to Callier. Callier over to Byram. Byram outside. Renee looking to use her fancy feet. Has a couple good bounces go her way, and now Bobcats able to maintain possession after the deflection. Byram has a poor first touch, and now it could be a turnover. Ibarra puts that just a bit too far behind. Here's the cross in. Cleared out there by the Blazers. Looks like we have a substitution here for the Bobcats, as Ballin will be substituted off, and this will be McPherson Blair coming on. Taking that center defensive role. Throw in by Dornay, finds DeZongramel. Good cross there by Dornay, doesn't find teammate but causes a bit of havoc there in the 18-yard box, and the ball comes out to Van Berkel, puts it over the top. Bobcats not letting up here as we enter the 85th minute of play. Looking to increase the tally to 14. Here come the Blazers though, this is what they need. Here comes Okimo. Burton now able to turn, find Ward. Ward's going to be one-on-one with Wasilik. Milan now able to get this up the field a bit. Rendina is intercepted there by McPherson Blair, who has the ball. Intercepted by Wasilik for the Blazers. They're off to the races now. Kelly does a good job. Work looking to switch the field. Byram. He's got the turn and probably play his back. Blazers pressuring the ball quite a bit there, and she didn't feel comfortable playing it up the field. Here's McPherson Blair with a bit more space on this near side. Work with a good first touch inside. Gives herself some room, and Burton just unable to collect that ball. Just boot up the field. Ball bounces, and Ibarra is just unable to get to it, and Byram has to collect it for the Bobcats. Van Berkel plays it into Burton. She's going to have to turn this. Can't quite do it and loses it out to Wasilik. Work now. Van Berkel. Over to Byram. Byram plays down the line to Okimo. Okimo has a deflection, and that'll go out of the end for a corner kick. Looks like Dornay will be the corner kick taker here. We have a great look at the Victoria and 18th Street intersection there. Good cross there to Zongermel with a shot attempt off the volley, and that just went wide the whole time. Didn't quite wrap her foot around that enough. Looks like we have another substitution here, as the Zongermel will go off. McPherson Blair will be forced up into the defensive midfield role, and we will have Castillo taking that fullback, center back role. Okay, Mo looking to take a shot here. Didn't have the pace she wanted on it, so Kilburn able to scoop that up. Good boot there by Kilburn. That hits the back of Van Berkel, and that's exactly what has to happen. Just any sort of body part kills that ball's momentum, and Blazers don't have any offense as a result. Now the Bobcats can string together those passes that they have been able to do so effectively. McPherson Blair able to put one into the back of the net, curling that into the far side, far post. The late substitution, who got bumped up to a midfield after being a fullback for most of the game there, is able to have a couple touches and put that into the bottom corner. There's their first touch, and she's able just to curl that around. Doesn't have the most pace on it, but is able to put a bit of spin on that and have that one bounce into the corner there. very tough for the goalkeeper to get to, as that ball's curling away from her the whole time. And great shot there by McPherson Blair to extend the lead now to 14 goals. McPherson Blair, one of the graduating players here for the Bobcats, as well as a couple more of the starting lineup and players that are on the field now. We have Brogan Henry, Dornay, Jansen, all graduating onto bigger and better things. Here's Kellier now taking her charge up the middle of the field. It's met there by Milan. Not quite on the same page as Burton. Puts it just a little too far behind her, but good work there by those two. Van Berkel with the deflection puts it over to Garcia, who's going to have a bit of space. Wasilik's going to have to boot this up the field. Doesn't quite get there, and intercepted there by the Bobcats. Deflection goes out of play. Just waiting for the ball to return here. Went to the parking lot. Throw in for the Blazers now, with Milan taking this into Ibarra. Byram now at the back for the Bobcats. Goes all the way back to Lamoureux. Lamoureux? My French is failing me. McPherson Blair losing it out to Garcia. Callier able to collect it for the Bobcats. McPherson Blair into the middle of the field, able to get it over to Chemo. Intercepted by Moist. McPherson Blair back on it though, able to thread the needle to work, but just a bit too much pace and it goes out the end. Kilburn now. Looking to pass to the outside, doesn't quite have the height it needed, and here's a shot attempt. Just sails over the top. And there is the final whistle between the CMU Blazers and the Bobcats. Bobcats come out on top in the first semifinal match here at the HLC. 14 for the Bobcats, 0 for the Blazers. I'm Dan Harrison. We'll be right back with the men's game just after this break.
Bye.